talk a little bit about Women's Empowerment Month. As you all know, March is being celebrated globally as a Women Empowerment Month. And here we are following, here at ANA, we are also following the tradition and celebrating Women's Month in our own way. We are inviting women guest speakers, we are learning their life stories, their struggles, their success, and their achievements. And we will take a minute to pay our respect and express our gratitude to our social reformers, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Savitribai Phule, and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, for their lifelong dedication and devotion to the women's causes and their women's empowerment. So we really pay our gratitude and our respect to our leaders because they sow the seed of education, and because of that we have been benefited, and we are totally in gratitude for their work. And it is immense. Because of their immense work, women are uh, you know women are where they are enjoying the success. They are in You see them working in each every sector of life today, and we really grateful for Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, Savitribai Phule, and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and for their work. As you all know, Ambedkar Association of North America was founded in 2008. And since its inception, ANA has been supported by women. ANA has two women presidents, and without women's contribution, our organization will not work, I must say. Women are equally very important of this association. And here I would like to give a quick shout out to the active members. As every 3 years our board members change, so I would like to quickly give a shout out to active members of ANA, our president of ANA, Smita Fuluke, active board members, Aruna Masurkar and Kalpana Shinde, and Vihara volunteers, Miss Sheila Sonone and Tejasi Thul. They are all working behind the scenes to make this organization work. So thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution, your active engagement, and your hard work. As we all know, are as we pay our gratitude to our leaders, we also take their inspiration. We also become a part of this society by paying back to the society in our own unique way. And now we will move forward with with our next session, and that is our guest speaker. I know you all have been waiting to hear from our beloved Thai, Dr. Vaishali Gaidhani, and let me give a brief introduction of her. Dr. Vaishali Gaidhani, Thai, has done her PhD in religious studies with concentration in Buddhist studies from University of West Los Angeles, USA. Her academic background involves MA in Pali and Buddhism, MSc in physics. Her research interests are, they comprise the study of doctoral concepts from Tripitaka text, which include Vinaya, Sutta, and Abhidhamma text attributed to Theravada Buddhism. Her research topics also include the concepts of science and Buddhism, Indian Buddhism, women in Buddhism, art and architecture in Indian Buddhism. Her professional background includes worked as an adjunct Faculty of Physical Sciences at the University of West from 2019 to 2022. She has been teaching Abhidhamma both offline and online over a period of 2016 to 2025. Prior to pursuing her PhD degree, Vaishali worked her way up as a head of sustainable solution for 12 years in a technology driven multinational company that provides green solutions such as energy efficiency and water efficiency to top corporate and developers. And she brings work experience of 30 plus years, which also includes her contribution to the educational and informational technology sector. Her research papers and publications include uh, her she has presented and published more than 30 research papers and articles from 2010 to 2026 at international conferences at AARWR and SASA at Los Angeles in USA, UNDV Vesak publication in 2019 and 2025 in Vietnam, AAS Asia Pacific in Hong Kong, Buddhist and Pali University at Homagama, Sri Lanka, University of Mumbai, Nagpur, and Pune in India. For PhD program, her title of her dissertation pertains to the less discussed topic of Khanti. Her topic is understanding the concepts of Khanti, patience, patience in the Theravada Pali text. With any more delay, I like to say thank you to Tai for accepting our invitation to be the speaker on online Vihara. We are very, very honored to have you, Tai. I request you to give us the talk.
Thank you, Krantitai. And thank you for inviting me over here and giving this opportunity to talk to all of you. And it's I really feel very happy to do this. Earlier also, we have been discussing certain topics, and especially the first time that I also came up on Anna was for International Women's Day uh, a few years ago. And today also that we are meeting is on this occasion that in this month, Anna is celebrating International Women's Month. And since all of these, every Sunday that you've been having women, great women speaking over here, I would like to say that this is just a small gesture on my part that I just wish to share my thoughts with you. As you all know that there has been a conference going on and huge discussion has been happening on the topic that I've shared with all of you. So that's about the formation of the Bhikkuni Sangha. And since this topic is not just appealing to maybe women, it is something that interests everybody, like whether they are bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, all through this while, upasaka, upasikas. So just that this topic was in highlight in the recent times. Maybe last week there was this conference. So I thought that it would be nice if I can talk about a little about my view of what or how the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha took place based on certain things, certain evidences that are there in the Pali Tipitaka that we have today. So bringing in the Buddha's viewpoint, trying to understand why all these things happen. And then when we compare with the things that are in relation to other aspects, like the Buddha's teaching in other contexts, then what do we see? So those are the things that I wanted to bring forth. So here, again, like I've been also listening to Bhante, about Angulimal Thera and how Bhante has explained about the Khanti quality of Angulimal Thera. Because Angulimal Thera is declared by the Buddha as foremost in Khanti Bala, patience. So this is one thing I would like everyone to keep a note of while we are also going to talk through this um, discussion today. And the important thing that I want to talk about, because I'm not having any presentation today, Krantitai just told me a couple of days ago, so I thought it's better I just talk over with you on these topics rather than preparing the presentation and those things. But yes, if you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask me at the end of this talk. And so let us begin with today's talk. Today, in this, the topic of the presentation is formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, like I already said. And I'm going to argue in this paper that the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha was not a social act. Although it seems so, but it was not a social act. The Bhikkhuni Sangha was formed for the sole purpose of one goal, and that is to provide women the capacity to attain Nibbana. So that is what I argue in this paper. So when we are talking about the Buddha's Dhamma, it has to do with Nibbana. That's the goal. That's one goal. And that we find throughout the Theravada Pali Tipitaka. Now, let us explore this. Now, we all know about this event, or the event that took place 2,600 years ago, about the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. So even during the time that this Bhikkhuni Sangha was getting formed, Bhikkhu Sangha already existed. We all know that Bhikkhu Sangha was established first, and Bhikkhuni Sangha was established second, later. Then, and we also know that Mahapachapati Gautami Theri requested thrice with the 500 maid or companions of the palace. And they somehow reached Vaishali, where they met Anand Ther, and Anand Ther also requested thrice to the Buddha to form the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Eventually, we know today that the Bhikkhuni Sangha did indeed get well established at that point. That is 2,600 years ago. A little bit about what was the situation there, having a glimpse. Would be relevant over here based on the suttas that we find in the Theravada Pali text. And we also know today that there are varied opinions about this event. So there are so many opinions about this event today. Even about in the fourfold community, the bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, they have their own ways of interpreting the formation of the Bhikuni Sangha, and the 8 Guru Dhamma. The additional, you can say, Guru is the weight, or Guru means heavy, actually. And Guru also means something that's respectful. So also about these 8 Guru Dhamma, there are so many opinions. Maybe we perceive from our biased opinion, that is what I thought. But then, what was Buddha's way of dealing with this formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha? So there are some few questions here. What were the details of this incident that took place? What led to the Buddha giving the 8 Guru Dhamma? And then that what was Ananda Thera's important role in the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha? So these are some few questions that we're going to look at today. There are many other questions, I'm sure, but these are the primary things that we would be looking at today. So basically, a lot has been spoken about the Bhikuni Sangha and about the eight Guru Dhamma, whether they are during the time of the Buddha or whether they are later editions and what they call as anachronism, or what anachronic, that means a misfit in chronology of events. So whether there has been, so many other things, so many perspectives that are there. And these finding some suttas where the Buddha explains some crucial aspects about women, we're going to talk about those suttas specifically. So let us begin with the word that is used for women or woman in Pali language. The word is ithi. And ithi is, you can say, ithi bhav, rather, the nature of women or the temperament of a woman is called as a paramatha. It's an ultimate truth. It's one of the 28 rupas that are there in the in the Abhidhamma. And but this ithi pertains to the physical aspect of a woman. How a woman forms physically, or rather biologically. These are the things that are represented in this case. So our discussion here, we will, however, rely on the suttas more and to understand the nature of women. And obviously, we are going to talk, of course, from the Buddha's viewpoint that's mentioned in the Pali Tipitaka. We see that the Buddha has praised women and also pointed out their inherent shortcomings, you can say. Now, in general, how is the women's conduct? So we find Buddha mentioning to Pasendi Raja, sometimes, King Pasenadi, that sometimes a girl is better than a boy because she can serve her in-laws, give birth to a Sammasambuddha or an Arhat. So what is the point over here? Speaking from the physical aspect, a woman is looked upon as one who gives birth. Matu Gam is the word used in this case, in the suttas for women. This unique ability of giving birth that women has, the other gender is devoid of. So this is a speciality, a special feature of women. Now, although the Buddha mentions that there are certain praiseworthy things and also certain adverse things that are mentioned, I would not talk about all of the suttas where the Buddha mentions, but what these suttas focus upon, that women are basically irritable by nature. By nature, they are jealous. They have this jealous habit of envy. And there are certain more things that are discussed in a couple of suttas. But here, the Buddha also talks about why women are so. Why are women so? Why do women behave so? So how is this? Because every time the Buddha has talked about anything, explaining anything, always the Buddha, when asked, gives reasons and causes why it is so. So, because the Dhamma, ye Dhamma hetu pabhava, every Dhamma that exists in this world is influenced by cause and reasons. So, whenever Anand Ther or Anuruddha Ther has asked questions mentioned in the Samyutta Nikaya and other places as well, Anguttara Nikaya and so. So we find that the Buddha gives those answers. Now, what is the reason? So the Buddha gives 5 reasons why women are so. These are biological reasons, and they are also certain social aspects. So the first one is the social aspect, that women, or even before we look at those 5 points, Buddha says that the birth of a woman is in misery. So is due to a miserable reason. What are those? And why the women which takes birth as a patisandhi chitta in the next life, what happens with the being as what with the woman as being? It is The first call the Buddha gives is a social cause, that at an early age, a woman has to leave the comfort of her homes and she has to go to reside with her husband's family. So she has to leave the comfort of her home. That is the first social reason. The uh, second, third, and fourth, all we are all aware about the biological reasons. That is, woman has to go through menstruation physically, get pregnant. That's the third reason. Fourth reason is give birth. So these three things the women has to do, which the fifth reason again, which comes up is the social reason. A woman is made to serve man. These are the five reasons that the Buddha gave. All of the above reasons that are given are painful and miserable states that the women needs to go through, which men do not need to go through. Now, however, women, the Buddha says, also has praiseworthy qualities. And the Buddha gives four such qualities that that women have. And in this, how women are winning in this life, how they practice to win in this life, and they succeed. And they succeed. So when they succeed at it, what are those qualities that the woman has? One, that she is well organized at work. Second, she manages domestic help. Whatever people around her in the family, she manages all of those things. Acts lovingly towards the husband. This is the third thing. And fourth thing is preserves his earnings. So these four qualities in a woman lead her to success, and she wins, and she's successful at it. So again, the sutta mentions matugamo, the first focus that a woman is placed at is of giving birth to a child. Now, it is seen that the qualities, the adverse qualities that a woman has, like envy, called issa, irritability, kodano, are generally perceived in a greater degree in women rather than men, because we see that this is the ground that that the Buddha has given us these reasons. Otherwise, who would have given us this reason? We we are we are so fortunate that we have the Buddha to tell us how we are, what are our positive qualities, what are our negative qualities, and how we should overcome our negative qualities to attain to what is to be meaningful, beneficial for us to attain. Now, when we are talking about the social structure today, and when we want to compare how the situation was 2,600 years ago and how is it today, in this case, there are some things here and there. So there's another sutta again, which tells us about where the Buddha tells Ananthe about how is the situation, the social situation of women during that time. Now, this is a question which Ananthe puts forth before the Buddha and asks, so what does Ananthe say to the Buddha? That why do women not attend council meetings, and why don't they work for a living, and why don't they go to Persia? These are the three questions that Ananthe asks the Buddha. Why don't they go to Persia? So this is Persia is a place during the Buddha's time which was addressed as Cambodge at that time. So why don't they go to Persia? This is something like we want to understand how this sutta is placed. Now, the Buddha over here, we can see that why don't they work for a living is understood. Why don't they attend council meetings? Because it was mostly the males who would be attending council meetings, the social activities, heading them, and so on and so forth. But the domestic aspect was all the responsibility of the women, even during those times. And why don't they go to work for a living? This was the second point. This is something that what were the works that were for living? We can say that mostly it was agriculture. And then the second, it was trading. So these two aspects, working for a living, so that means women used to be at home in the domestic arena, and they used to take care of their children and the family of the men's family, and and serve them. So that was the role that women were supposed to do. But that means they did not go to work in the fields. That is what it means. Why don't they work for a living? Or maybe if he's a carpenter, or if he's a potter, pot maker, or something like that. Um, they never engaged into those things. That was the condition of the society. And why don't women travel to Persia? Usually, traders during those times travel long distances. And traveling to Persia also was like something to do trade. That means women did not engage in trade as well. So this is what we find from this sutta. And the Buddha answers to this question of the social aspect over there. The Buddha says, because Anand, the ladies or Matugama, again, here it is referred, are Kodhano, Isuki, and Machari, and Dupanyo. What is it? So Buddha says, ladies are irritable by nature, they are jealous, they are stingy, and they are unintelligent. So these are the four things that the Buddha, these are the four reasons in general, because we are talking generally about women, about everybody in the women. It's not with respect to specially any one women, because we see that there are exceptions even during the Buddha's time, and we'll see those exceptions at the end of it. But the social structure that we are talking about, that this existed 2,600 years ago. And today, when we see that things have changed socially. Women, in addition to their domestic role, have also taken up careers. They've stepped out of their houses, and also they have treaded far beyond their local place, or whatever we call it, that they've moved to far off lands to get educated, to contribute to the family. So these are the things that have changed a little bit from 2,600 years until now. And they go, when we see that the women, they are working women, they go overseas to far off lands, and they attend meetings also, community meetings. Here we see that the entire ANA organizing team is concentrated. And whichever organization, if you look at, is there are women who lead the foray. So these are certain changes that have changed through this time. But even then, even after all of these things, we do find there are certain things which need to further change. And let's not get into that. But then these shortcomings and limitations that the women have, definitely they are respected for the role that they play. And when we look at their advancement or evolvement through this time, we understand that they have really overcome those shortcomings of what the Buddha says that this is the inherent nature of women. So we can also see that. So however, here the Buddha focuses on the aspect of women as kodhano, or anger, being the power of women. Now, this is something we need to check for ourselves. Even today, if it is so, really, how the women behave at home towards everyone. So is kodhano the nature of women? Are women more, do women possess more anger than men even today, is something we need to check for ourselves. And this nature, again, like we're not looking at the Abhidhamma aspect over here. So I would skip that. But then we can conclude that the women who are developing today have to a certain extent evolved through their own shortcoming. And this is because of the practical work experience also they have in the society that they participate. and also that they are working women today. So the Buddha's explanation of the adverse women nature is an important guideline that leads to our discussion today. So the things like, why did the Buddha take such so many, even after so many requests, why did the Buddha uh, did not allow the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha initially? So that is because that can be attributed to ensure that women are diligent in what they want to take up. Now, here again, to develop that Dhamma Samveg, it was necessary in the beginning that the Buddha, by the refusal thrice, it wanted to ensure that women really are, and really and truly, they want to focus on the aspect of the formation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, the goal of the Bhikkhuni Sangha formation. What is that? So here, it is that Mahapajapati Gautami theory inquired that Bhante, we want to participate, or we want to be a part of your Dhamma and Vinaya, that is teaching and training. But when Ananthet, for the fourth time, even after the Buddha refusing 3 times, Ananthet, for the fourth time, says to the Buddha, that is the crucial question. And that is something that was a moving question. And this moving question actually compelled the Buddha to form the Bhikkhuni Sangha. What was that question? So that question is, Bhante, Tathagat, do women have the capacity to attain the 4 fruition and Nibbana? The 4 Magga, Phala and Nibbana. 4 Magga, 4 Phala and Nibbana. Are women capable to do that? Now the Tathagat, now the Buddha says yes. This question came up on the Dhamma. And how the Buddha's Dhamma, is the Buddha's Dhamma in having that, we can say the efficiency, for that matter, that for women, do women have that efficiency? And this efficiency that the women have to attain the capacity, you can say the expertise the women have to attain to Nibbana, that was the question. And this part was something that was important because that was something that the Buddha had perceived even after enlightenment, that he wanted to form. When Mara came up and said, now enough, you attained enlightenment, now you need to go. So then at that point of time, the Buddha said, no, I've not done my responsibilities yet. I have to form the 4-fold Sangha. So the Buddha already had this in mind. And also there are other things to this, that the Buddha also knew how the previous Buddha had formed, or how the previous Buddha had taught. So they had also had the Bhikuni Sangha. They also had the 4-fold Sangha. So it's not that our Gautam Buddha during our time would not want to do it. But then the things have to be in that particular context. They have to be conducive for that particular thing to happen. And for that thing to happen, seeing the nature of women, there needed to be something more that the women should have to attain to the fruition and Nibbana. So those additional things that the women needed were the things that the Buddha actually equipped the women with. And those are the 8 Guru Dhamma. So these are the additional things that the Buddha is kind of a gift from the Buddha for women. And it is something that basically, it's like women have so much anger. They have a lot of man. It has to be reduced, right? And the word for, if you see, the man aspect in women is more. And here, man is considered as akusala. It's an unwholesome emotion. And what is the positive emotion in this case? So the positive emotion uh, that is an antidote to man is Garu. The word is Garu for Arya people, noble people. That is what should be sought by those who well practice the Dhamma and the Vinaya as a noble person. That is called as Garu. How well? And what are those things? So Garu things means these 8 Garu Dhamma that are there, those are for respect, for women to gain respect also. It's the other way around. It is not the way we see in the world. It the Sangha treads a path or walks on the path which is opposite to the path of samsara. It's not same as in samsara. It is the opposite. It is patisotagami, a reverse journey. So these things, like the Garu Dhamma, when we say, they are to strengthen the determination of women to attain the fruition and Nibbana, that is Phala and Nibbana, and also to reduce their man and kodh, that is their, there's a Lokya Dhamma. Man is conceit, right? So conceit and anger, it reduces that. And it also, because wherever there is kodh or anger, an angry mind is not capable of assimilating wisdom. An angry mind is incapable to do that. Either there will be anger or there will be wisdom. So when women overcome this quality or their shortcoming, their wisdom increases eventually. So these things are the effects of the Garu Dhamma. And so we see over here that what led the Buddha to give the 8 Garu Dhamma to women. So one is Ananthe's request and Ananthe's gentleness towards women, and for their feelings to enter the path and to attain Nibbana, towards that goal. So Ananthe, even in the text, it's mentioned that 3 times that Ananthe requested the Buddha. The 4th time, Ananthe thinks to himself that, let me rephrase this question to the Buddha. Let me rephrase it. And Ananthe, for the 4th time, rephrases it in pertaining to the goal of Nibbana, the fruition, the Phala, and Nibbana. So this rephrasing of the question is one of exemplary wisdom of Ananthe, although he was a Sotapanna. So yet he could do that because of his intention to help women. So that's why Ananthe was very pio, manapo, very liked, much liked by women during that time. And even now we see the quality that Ananthe has, a soft corner towards women, for which he was also charged in the first council, Pathama Sangiti. So that's another thing. So and moreover, that when the Buddha consented, gave an affirmative answer to Ananthe that yes, women are capable of attaining fruition and Nibbana. At that point, the Buddha said, and here are the 8 Garu Dhamma. And here are the 8 Garu Dhamma. So Buddha consented with the 8 Garu Dhamma. With the 8 Garu Dhamma. And so the 8 Garu Dhamma, they are to mitigate the qualities that a woman has, the adverse qualities a woman has. And I would like to, yeah. So these 8 Garu Dhamma, now how did the Buddha give this 8 Garu Dhamma? Because the Buddha's knowledge of Sabbayu Nyan, knowledge of everything, wherever the Buddha focused his attention, the Buddha was able to get 100% knowledge of that in this universe. And it was specific knowledge of the Buddha to know the defilements of the other person. How, from where is that other person coming? From where is that person going to go? That was known as the Asavanusaya Nyaya. It's the Asavanusaya Nyaya. So this knowledge of the Buddha helped the women to, and because the Buddha shared this, and because Ananther inquired, because the women like Mahapajapati Theri and also the 500 women as a complete Sangha, they came to the Buddha, they showed that with bleeding feet, with dust all over their body, and crying with tears, so much they wanted to be a part of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. So going through all of this pain, and then the Buddha accepting them was something that was an event of joy. It was an event of joy. So so many times rejecting, and then the Buddha consenting, that how women can do this, and they, at the end of it, that they were happy that they were included in the Sangha. This is the khanti that the Buddha developed, the patience that the Buddha developed in women at that time to strengthen their determination. So this quality of khanti, if we look at in the text, is a very important quality. And whenever anyone wishes to attain to Nibbana, the ultimate goal of the Buddha's teaching, then it is only through this teaching of khanti that one can attain Nibbana. So it is khanti paramang tapotitikha, Nibbanang paramang vadanti Buddha. That is a Dhammapad verse 184. And this is khanti that the Buddha developed in the women. That those who are with anger, how can they develop this khanti? To face all trouble that comes over, because Buddha's Dhamma, as we said, is patisodgami, not like the samsara. It's a reverse journey, and it is a reductionist Dhamma. Reductionist in the form of reduction, in the form of reducing the akusal, reducing the unwholesome. And this is what khanti is all about, like especially to do with discomfort. Whenever we have any discomfort, and how do we practice the Dhamma in that case? Like there has been so many cases, so many incidents. I mean, we can also look at maybe this adosa chetasika. It's an adosa chetasika. It's a and then khanti is actually defined with this adosa chetasika, is when one faces a discomfort, maybe which comes through weather, which comes through another person's behavior, insulting behavior, or maybe through a physical pain, a long suffering, or something like even a disease or anything that we need to endure, and we cannot do anything about it. So how do we do it? So khanti is the Buddha's weapon, basically, to attain Nibbana. But here, in this case, when Ananther came over to Mahapajapati Gotami and gave the Buddha's consent to them, what did Mahapajapati Gotami say to Ananther? Just like a young lady or a young man having bathed herself, decorates with the garlands made up of jasmine flowers, lotus flowers, in the same way, I hold the 8 Guru Dhammas in both of my palms over my head and accept to abide by them until life lasts. This is what Mahapajapati Gautami said. Such words of joy, gratitude towards the Buddha, and so much happiness that now that the Buddha has accepted them into the fold of bhikkhunis. And because bhikkhuni is fold has been formed specially for the attainment of Nibbana. Only that. It's only that. That is the role in Theravada Buddhism. In Theravada Buddhism. However, the Buddha is also teaching householders how to gain a good life in the next life, how to gain sugati in the next life. That is for householders. But for the Sangha, for the Bhikkhu Bhikkhunis, it is mainly for attainment of Nibbana. That is the early Buddhism that we see in the suttas that the Buddha gave to as an admonishing to the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. Now, these 500 women, so gladdened, and after going through all of these tearing pain, they and rejection, were now like, even though with swollen feet, bleeding feet, and tears all over, dust all over, they were so happy, so overjoyed, and this khanti and the patient acceptance they showed towards the Buddha, and the Buddha opened the doors of women's liberation. This is how the Buddha opened the doors of women liberation. Now, there are other things to this again. The Buddha said to Ananda that the Dhamma and Vinaya will last 500 years less. It's also mentioned over there. Now, even though the Buddha knowing that the Dhamma and Vinaya would be lasting 500 years, we would be reducing, even then the Buddha gave the Bhikkhuni ordination, the Bhikuni Sanga. So much Buddha's compassion for women. The Buddha did not go out of his way to offer ordination to men, but for women, the Buddha did this. Is such a blessing. It's such a nice feeling for us women. And however, the Buddha also says that after affecting the Sangha, after taking the Bhikkhunis, forming the Bikuni Sanga, it's going to affect. And even after affecting it, the Buddha said, I have given the 8 Guru Dhamma. So this is something that the Buddha is also mitigating, the length of the sasana, Buddha sasana, the Dhamma and Vinaya. So, this is something we can look at from this perspective. Now, with the Khanti Bala increased of women, their determination and their dedication of going through whatever that may come, because this was not something, the Guru Dhamma, the Mahapajapati Gautami theory would not have looked something that is a kind of bias. She would have looked at it that, oh, I am able to attain to Nibbana with these weapons. I am able to attain Nibbana to overcome my adverse nature and to endure the difficulties until attainment of Nibbana. It is not an easy task. Attainment of Nibbana, one has to go through, one has to let go. It's a Viraga Dhamma. It's a Viraga Dhamma. All attachment has to go away. And so when we see that women during those times, like even if we look at theories who entered the Sangha, they were like, initially, they mentioned in their theory Gatha, that initially I was very obsessed with my beauty, like Ambapali theory says that. And now I see that I'm getting old. And she describes her physical appearance, how it is getting affected with jara, with old age. So they have overcome those things which they were so much obsessed with. Now, in this case also, we see that women in those times, like usually they were inside the home, so they were well protected. However, we see that Mahapajapati Gautami leaving the comfort of the palace and also those 500 companions with her. They left the comfort of the palace and Dhammadina theory. When her husband Visakha became an anagami, he said that okay, you can take away all the wealth that you want, and wherever you want to go. But then she left that. Dhammadina theory left that to become to join the Bhikkhuni Sangha. And similarly, Vaddamata theory also, she left the relatives and she left her small child with the relatives and came and joined so she left her son. Um, so even son. So these were certain things that the Buddha said for any woman, beauty, wealth, having sons, having relatives. These are certain things a woman wishes to possess, and they are her powers that gives her confidence. And they left all of this in the worldly life. Even leaving the husband, like even Kumar Kassapa's mother, even she left her husband. And so all of these women in the worldly life, they follow the sila. That is one confidence that takes her to a good realm, to the next realm, to Sugati. But these are also certain things that a woman uh, prices herself with. And uh, so, coming to the point of conclusion, I would want to say here, in fact, I would want to repeat what I said in the beginning, that the formation of the Bhikuni Sangha was not a social act. The Bhikuni Sangha was formed for the sole purpose of one goal, to provide women the capacity to attain Nibbana. And the 8 Guru Dhammas are the instrumental weapon for a women to practice the Dhamma and Vinaya so that they can attain Nibbana, Arhatul. Just as men could at that time, to reach a stage that transcends the gender bias, to gain an expertise which levels up the gender concept where no male female exists. These 8 Guru Dhamma sharpen the wisdom in women to fight their internal defilements of anger, jealousy, stinginess, unintelligence, and so on, that weigh them down in samsara heavily by virtue of their just being. The Buddha gave women the weapon of 8 Guru Dhamma, a kind of a collective object to attain Nibbana, to focus on. So it's a kind of a kammathan. Just as the Buddha gave the 500 bhikkhus the weapon of Karniya Metta Sutta to address the discomfort of others, the Buddha gave the 500 bhikkhus the weapon of Karniya Metta Sutta. It is similar to this. And just as Baba Sahib gave us the weapon of education to be successful in the worldly life. So with these words, I would like to stop here and thank you everyone for such a wonderful opportunity that you have given me to speak my mind about what I feel about the Buddha's Dhamma and how much we should be thankful that Baba Sahib gave us this Dhamma. So it is something we need to really think on and think wisely about it. Thank you so much for a patient listening. And with these words, I would like to say, Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hontu, Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hontu, Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hontu. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, we are very extremely grateful for your Dhammadana today. You spoke about Buddha's compassion in the formation of Bhikkhuni Sangha. You mentioned about women's shortcomings and how to aid Guru Dhamma to come out of those shortcomings so that women can also attain Nibbana. So, with that, I would like to open the forum, and if anyone has any questions, they can ask Vaishali Tai. Uh, you can also ask your questions in Marathi or Hindi, uh, and we can. I think we all can understand Marathi and Hindi, so.
Yeah, I would like to excuse for this because today I give this talk in English. But then I know that there are many of us over here who would have loved to listen to this talk in Hindi or Marathi. But I thank you for your patience with me. Thank you so much. You can ask in Marathi or Hindi, yes, as Krantitai said. मराठी आणि हिंदीमध्ये पण विचारू शकतात.
I would like to ask a question. There are so many, like you would like to practice Khanti. In most situations or in some situations, you are successful, but at times you really lose your focus and you lose your patience as well. And so, I mean, we all have our, you know, shortcomings. We all have our cultivation of our mind, and we lose at times. So, how do we, without losing our focus and saying, oh, yes, we know that we have our shortcomings and I lost my focus. Understanding that sometimes you feel guilt. Oh, how I am practicing this. I am practicing to maintain my focus. And how could I lose my focus? So, how do you go about that?
No problem, Tai. We should be kind to ourselves also. That's the method that we give us, right? We have to forgive ourselves that we are not successful all the time. But we will try next time when we realize it's a reflection. And this reflection is important. It's something that the Buddha has told Bhante Rahula to focus on this reflection. Once any action is done, after that we think, right? Oh, I'm not able to do this, right? And when we think about it, it's also called as Dhamma Nijjhana Khanti. So it is whenever there is some a wrong view in what we think, and we realize that that is also a reflection. So it's also called as Ditti Nijjhana Khanti because we have our own dittis, our own views over it. But but then when we actually look at it, oh, this thing is something I should next time I should pay attention to. Uh, so the measure of Khanti goes on increasing. So that's how we should look at it. That okay, earlier I used to be so short tempered, but that now I it takes a while. Not for the small things I do not get angry at all. I know how to deal with it. So at least I know how to do it. So keeping that in mind, we can extend our patience. And also that we need to be very kind to us. Only then, if we are happy with us, and if we know that when we are happy, we'll be able to do better. So that sukhi no chittang, like the wholesome, the kusal, we need to do that. And that gives us the basis, the platform to move ahead with more kusala. Yeah, in Dhamma. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Tai. Great answers, Tai. Great answer. Thank you so much. Anybody has any question? You also mentioned, Tai, about man, about conceit. Uh, how do we understand man or conceit in our, ordinary life that we are living?
So when we look at Man, this is one of the eight Lokya Dhamma, eight vicissitudes of life. So Man is considered, now when we look at a certain thing, like a specific word in Pali, we try to associate, I mean, that's the way that I do it. And even when we know the Dhamma, we come to know exactly what that thing is. So Man is an emotion. It is a Chetasika, and that is something that is I. Now when the Buddha gave the first sutta, that's Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. After that, the Buddha, at that time, only one Sotapanna. That's mm, the Buddha said, Ayasi Kundanya, Thera. And after that, when the Buddha gave the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, that time everyone became Arhat. So what is that? Anatta teaching. So Buddha's teaching is Anatta. We are made up of Nam and Roop, Khanda, and so we are made of Nam and Roop in the sense we are having the Panchakhanda in terms of the sutta that we say. Nam and Roop we say in terms of Abhidhamma. But this khanda that we are made up of, the Rupa, 5 khandas. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vinyan. So this Roop that we say this is I. This is, there are, it's in Pali, it is said that etang mama, eso hamasmi, eso me attati. So it is like this I am, this is mine, and this is myself. So we attribute these 5 khandas as I. This is man. And that is the first thing the Buddha, when teaching Puthujanas, even Puthujanas and ordinary people, this is the first thing that the Buddha says to remove, that Sakkaya Ditti. This is a wrong view. There is no khanda like that you can say that that is I. Because as we took the example of even Ambapali theory, that this is, she has come out of that the conceit, the man, that I am beautiful. So man is this, and it is an akusala chetasika, it's unwholesome. It is associated with lobh, greed, that selfishness, like the Buddha said, that females are more selfish. So this is more in women. They like mana. They like if someone respects them, and they don't like if someone does not respect them. And we see how the Indian stories have come up, where women did not like that somebody insulted them, and then how did they retaliate. Even we know the story of Magandia Theri in Magandia. She's not a Theri, sorry. So the way that she behaved with the Buddha, not just with the Buddha, because she sent those people, right, to the Buddha, and they were like, they were shouting abuses outside the Buddha's monastery. And Anand Thayer says to the Buddha, Tathagat, let's go away from here, because these people, Tathagat said, the Buddha said, don't worry, Anand, they are going to be here only for 7 days. After that, it's all going to be normal. So this is like, even Magandiya, Queen Magandiya, wife of King Udayin, she also, we know how she behaved, because she had so much mana. Not just with the Buddha, even she had jealousy towards Samavati, Queen Samavati, Udayin's another wife, because she adored the Buddha. That was the only reason. So that's how women who are so much obsessed with respect and self feeling, that selfishness, what the Buddha calls, they go to any extent to do. And there were other suttas as well, which mention more things about women, but then I did not take up those suttas right now today. So man is this thing. We need to let go of man, the first thing. And that when we let go of it is what gives us peace of mind, actually. It does not let us go to that area, that unwholesome area, which makes us do more things for it, more unwholesome for it. So man is something, it's one of the vicissitudes. It's not just that in women, there are certain men also who behave in that way. Especially during the time of the Buddha, we see many Brahmins also approaching the Buddha with so much man, because, and then the Buddha had to clarify with them, explain them, each of them in a different way. Especially, and they used to come with anger towards the Buddha. So there are a certain line of suttas in the Brahman Samyutta also, where the Buddha explains to them. So man is this, but usually, generally, in the Buddha's explanation, it is explained that generally women possess man a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Tai. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat.
If you do not agree with what I said, I would be glad to know that. Yeah. Because this was one perspective that I felt need to be communicated to our society, to everyone, especially the women, because it's so helpful. It's helpful for women, and things that are helpful, beneficial for our society, for all of us, need to be talked about. That's what the Buddha said. Unless and until we talk about it, how do will everyone know about it, right? So that was the reason I was very happy that I could take up this topic. And even at short notice from Kranti Tai, I was like, okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we can do it, Tai.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I like everyone to know I approached Tai on Tuesday, and Tai was so gracious. She accepted our invite, and she prepared her talk in such a short time, and we are really grateful to her. I don't have any other words to express, but we are very, very grateful to
No, you
you.
don't need to say that. It's okay. Yeah, it's
Yes, but
okay. You don't need to say that. Yeah, thank you so
yes,
much,
but
Kranti Tai.
we are very
In fact,
grateful.
I am grateful to you that we could talk about the Buddha's Dhamma. It gives me such a great pleasure. I feel so happy and so overjoyed to talk about the Buddha. And what more than on an online Vihara that we get to talk about this?
Yes,
It's a rare opportunity also that you have given me. And therefore, I'm more grateful to you. Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much. Actually, we are grateful to you. The whole ANA team is grateful to you. And you came and you spoke about the topic. And this is the month of March. As I mentioned, we are speaking about the women's issues, and you selected the topic that is very close to our heart. And we really appreciated it. So, Tai, you mentioned about the shortcomings that we need to work on.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
very practical, Tai.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
it's very
The-
practical that, there is a irritation is there, jealousy is there, matsarya, and also women are a little bit stingy. So
yeah, yeah,
we,
yeah.
we have, these are good points.
Yeah,
Uh, we all know that we can improve these qualities by
yes,
little bit, little bit, little bit. So,
yes. I
yeah.
didn't mention that. The Buddha has told us those points, what we need to work on. Even as a householder, we can do that. So
Mm,
there are 5 points to it. They
mm,
are one, Saddha, faith in the
mm,
Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It takes us all through all of the uh, life that we would be spending, in samsara.
mm,
This Saddha in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha should be unshakable, unwavering. That is what would take us to Nibbana. And if we as human beings, if we really know this, that there is only one refuge, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the second refuge, the third refuge, the of triple gems, then we need to know what we need to do for that. Because that's the safe refuge. To Patachara Theri, the uh, Buddha said this to Patachara Theri, that you come under refuge of the Buddha. That's what Buddha said. So this again, these are the small lines. I did not talk about Kundal Ke Satheri, such beautiful thing about her as well. But what the Buddha basically gave Putujana, women, as 5 things: Saddha, Sila, that's virtue, That Panchasil also we follow. And then uh, Chag. Chag is something generosity, to give. And fourth one is Panya. We develop in Panya when we listen to the Dhamma. So Sutta, listening to the Dhamma. So these are the five things that the Buddha gave. So we develop in Panya that ways. And we overcome the those characteristics in us. Yeah. So this is the solution for us. So we can, even today, we can work on these lines. Yes, Tai. Yeah.
Yes, we can work on it and develop ourselves. Yes, very practical guidelines. Uh, Sometimes hard to do, uh, but at least we are on the path, and we can.
We are trying. Yeah.
Yeah, we are trying. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so and also Buddha talks about the metta qualities of a mother, uh, how the metta is greatest in mothers. So he has mentioned those qualities in his suttas. So there is a lot to learn, and we practice slowly to improve ourselves. So, anyone else has any questions? So, I do not see any questions. I see one question in the chat box. It says, how we can overcome and reflect upon our shortcomings and work towards it. We are not able to hear you.
Yeah. So, Krantitai, it's just a comment, I think. It's not a question.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah.
So I do not see any questions, uh, but with that, I like to say Tai again. We are very, very grateful for your Dhammadana today. This was a very good talk, and I learned a lot with all of us who are here joined today on online Vihara. We truly appreciated your effort, time, energy, and you shared your expertise and your knowledge. We thank you for your Dhammadana. Thank you, Tai. We are very grateful to you. Appreciated, Tai.
Thank you, Tai.
Um, I